Welcome to my channel. I'm Jess, and this is Canyon Oracle, a place where we use divination tools like tarot and oracle cards to inspire healing and transformation in the lives of truth seekers just like you. Today we're going to be answering the question, what is this here to teach me? You could be asking about a relationship in your life. You could be asking about a hardship that you're going through, some conflict that you're going through. You could be asking about a wonderful thing that's happening in your life. I know we're all experiencing a lot of upheaval in our lives right now. I don't know when you're watching this, but I'm recording this during the worldwide quarantine of the coronavirus. So if you're watching this and you're still inside, then I imagine there's a lot going on with you right now. So I just want you to know that I think you are super cool, that you're really the kind of person that's asking this question and interested in doing that kind of self-inquiry, you know? So that's just the first thing. And thank you so much for your time and attention. Before we dive into the reading, I also want to remind you that you are the architect of your own life. You know, you have free will. You can always make a new choice that will launch you in a new direction. And you always know what's best for you and at your core, what's true for you. So if you choose a pile that doesn't resonate with you at all, please don't ever try to make it fit. You can move on to another group, or you can move on to an entirely different pick a card reading. There's so many great ones out there that I've actually really loved watching myself. And the reason I love watching them so much is because it invites the viewer to use their own intuition, tap into their own internal guidance system. And if that's something that you enjoy and you'd like to explore that further, I've actually created a really powerful meditation that can support you in doing just that. It's called Inward Journey. And I'd love to gift it to you if you're interested. You can find it at canyonoracle.com/YT. That link is in the description box below, along with another link about the work that I do. I do live one-on-one intuitive coaching sessions where I use divination tools like tarot and oracle cards to really get to the root of whatever it is that's stopping you in your life and to get insight and clarity about how to move you forward toward the life that you really truly desire. Also, there's info about the cards that I'm using in the description box below. If there's anything else that you're wondering about, please don't hesitate to leave me a comment. I promise I will get back to you. Okay, without further ado, we have 3 groups to choose from today. We have group 1, group 2, and group 3. So I just invite you to take a moment and really ground yourself in your body, feel your feet on the ground, and ask yourself the question, what is this here to teach me? And then choose a pile that most resonates with you. And I'll see you on the other side. Hi, Group 1. Welcome to your reading. Okay, we're going to be using a variety of different cards today, some non-traditional tarot cards, some oracle cards. We'll look at each card and then see the story that really wants to be told. So what is this here to teach me? I love that question, by the way, and I love that you're asking that question. Okay. All right, let's start with these cards. So the first card that we have is the card of healing. Beautiful way to start. Then we have the 9 of fire. So it would be the equivalent of the 9 of wands. Then we have the card of union. Beautiful card. Then we have the, what is this? The 11. So it's the knight. No, it's the page. I'm sorry. It's the page of water. The Page of Cups. This is the equivalent of the Page of Cups. And in this deck, it's emotion versus intellect and intellect. Interesting, right next to the card of union. Okay, then we have the disseminating moon card. Time to breathe out. Then we have the card of regeneration. Whew. This is a powerful reading, guys. And then we have the direction card. which we'll look at the very end. Let me get my glasses because the type is very small. Okay, here we go. So the healing card is pretty self-explanatory, right? I mean, this is very literally about the time that it takes to heal. Yeah, it's right next to the Nine of Wands. So that's why I said time. I'm like, why did I say time? Because there is like, the first message that I'm getting for you very clearly is this is about what it takes to actually heal something. Like, we talk a lot about that in the spiritual community, don't we? About I'm doing healing work and I'm healing from my childhood wounds, and forgiveness is so important, and energy healing. And, you know, I've been working in the healing arts for 20 plus years, and from massage to energy work to coaching. And I can tell you that healing is sometimes very difficult and can take a very long time, and sometimes doesn't happen no matter how much time and dedication you put into it. And the flip side of that is also healing can take place in one moment, in a single second. So because you got the healing card right next to the Nine of Wands, it feels to me like what this is trying to teach you is that it's important that you be dedicated to your own healing, and it's okay if it takes time. And that your passion for healing and your purpose for healing is, it feels like it's sort of like the guiding principle of your life right now. Like, it's extremely important that you allow yourself to commit to it, really. Like, the Nine of Wands is definitely a card of commitment and dedication and loyalty, and that spiritual warrior energy that does not give up. And let's be honest, how do we learn most in life? Is through difficulties, through war in a way, right? Like, every time you make it through a problem, if you stay open and available to the lessons that are being presented to you, boy, oh boy, do you learn a lot, right? It's very seldom that we learn when things are easy. It's also that we don't get to experience ourselves as a spiritual warrior when things are easy. So whatever you're going through right now, you are healing, and it's important that you see yourself as the spiritual warrior that I know you are. That's part of your healing, is to know your own strength, is to know how resilient you are. Does that make sense? Then we got the card of Union right next to the card of emotions and intellect. And again, that is the Page of Cups. So, you know, typically, like, the Page of Cups is a card that's about small offerings of love. Sometimes can be immature, or an apology, or just a text message, hey, you know, that kind of offering. But in this deck, it's really about balancing the emotions with the intellect. And because it is next to the card of Union, it feels very much about balancing your, not just your emotions with your intellect, but your divine masculine and feminine within you. You know what I mean? The union of opposites, and the feminine, emotional, flowing yin energy that you're working with in yourself, and also the masculine, intellectual, yang energy within you. So, you know, when I say masculine and feminine, I don't mean necessarily, you know, a man and a woman, but rather the yin and the yang that reside within each of us. And this is about divine union of the genders within you, the divine masculine and the divine feminine within you, and allowing for your emotions and intellect to flow together. So there's something about that is going to be transformative for you. So maybe you've always been the kind of person that really operated inside of your emotions, or it may be the opposite for you. It may be that you have been more the type of person that let your, whatever I just said, intellect or emotions lead, right? So one or the other has been dominating in your life, I would imagine, or you switch between one or the other. You know, a lot of us sort of bounce back from one extreme to the other. So you always use your emotions or you always use your intellect. But in order to really have the greatest potential and, the greatest amount of internal resources really is to use both the yang and the yin within us, the emotions and the intellect within us, and to never let one dominate the other, right? I mean, we're talking externally inside of a relationship. We have to allow for each to contribute, but internally as well, with the yang and the yang, the yang and the yin within us. It's like we have to allow for our intellect to work on our behalf and also our emotions to flow through us and to inform our decision making, right? They each inform each other. So there's something about whatever you're going through right now where you're learning about that. You're learning about the union within you. So then we got the time to breathe out, the disseminating moon. So there's a pause here, right? There's a pause here. My sense is that, like I said, there has been an imbalance in a way between the emotions and the intellect within you. And I imagine that can be, can make you feel crazy when you're going through a difficult time. A lot of us go through that, a lot of us are more driven towards one or the other. But if you're in the pause, if you allow yourself to exhale, breathe out, take a moment without any action or internal action or, trying to figure things out, trying to get things moving, or to be totally overwhelmed by your emotions, but rather taking a moment where you kind of get a little above it, right? In the pause. And this can literally happen in a moment. I think sometimes we get caught up in the idea that we're supposed to spend a whole day totally zenned out when our life is in the middle of chaos. That's not necessary. I mean, it would be great, sure, but it's not necessarily, nor is it very realistic for most of us when we're going through something, right? That's difficult to go through. It's about the moment. One moment to the next moment to the next moment. It feels like the guidance here is for you to bring yourself back to the present moment with your breath. I know that seems overly simplistic, but it does seem like that is what is being asked of you. That whatever it is that you're going through, your power is going to be literally in bringing yourself back to the present moment. And the best way you can do that is notice your breath. Just notice your breath. Notice yourself breathing. How am I breathing? You don't have to change anything. You don't have to do anything about it. You just notice your breath. That will instantly bring you into the present moment. And in the present moment is where all things are available. The union of opposites, healing, spiritual strength, bliss, happiness, joy, all the good things right here in the present moment, right? Where our mind is not going to the past and feeling regretful or resentful. And it's also not going to the future where we're anxious or worried. We are literally in the present moment. So that's how your nervous system can begin to chill out. You can ignite your parasympathetic nervous system. So that's the opposite of the fight or flight response, which brings you into that polarity of super yin or super yang, right? You want to be right in the present moment on your breath. And that will definitely give rise to the healing that wants to kind of move through your life right now. Then we have the card of regeneration, and this is one of my favorite cards because it speaks of, it's kind of like the lotus flower, really. This card reminds me of, where it's like the lotus that comes out of the mud. It's like all this fiery sort of volcanic energy down here that's very destructive is coming a new life that's stronger and wiser and more capable than it's ever been before. That's what's happening to you right now. What you're learning is, and it's right underneath that 9 of Wands, what you are learning is how strong you are, how capable you are to bring yourself to the present moment, to regenerate your whole experience of life and become something new, or just expand deeper into who you already are and what you're already doing, right? So that regenerative energy can be something like an old relationship is born again, where it regenerates itself. It's like, oh, I thought the plant was dead, and now I went on vacation for a month, I come back and the plant is grown again. It's like, you don't even need to do anything about it. That's the other message that I'm getting for you. And that's why you got the take time to breathe out card, because not only are you learning about yourself as the spiritual warrior that you are, and learning how to sort of merge these masculine and feminine energies within you, you are also learning to that you don't have to do anything to make all of this happen. You already have learned all of the skills that you need. You have done so much inner work on yourself. I am sure this is not the first time you've asked this question. What is this here to teach me? This is the kind of person that you are. So you have to remember, it has a cumulative effect over time. So now is not the time to go trying to fix or change yourself. Now is the time to know yourself, to know how much work you have done on yourself, and how wise you are and how capable you are of moving through anything in your life with grace and ease by bringing yourself back to the present moment over and over and over again, and just allow your plant to regrow itself. I really feel like your problems, your life will take care of itself. Like, your guidance right now is to just pause and chill out, really. And just trust. Trust in yourself, trust in life. Things are regenerating, and you have already started that momentum going. Of course, you don't want to be apathetic now and check out of your life. No, but you don't have to use that same driving energy, because it's already happening. It's already happening. So I wanted to come back to that point that I got sidetracked, but it can be like a relationship, let's say, that's been going on for decades, that sort of was going through chaos, and now it's growing again. It has a second chance. There's a rebirth. It's regenerating itself. It can also be a complete transformation, where it's a new relationship or a new work project or something like that, where it doesn't look anything like it did before. It's like the butterfly metaphor, where it's the caterpillar, it goes into the chrysalis, it becomes mush, and then it becomes a butterfly. It's the same thing, but it's completely different. completely transformed. That's what's happening to you right now. And then the last card, let's read. This is really a message I feel from your higher self directly to you. And it's a card of direction. And it says, Lord, please show me the right action right now. Please bring a sign and a miracle that gives clear direction. May I hear the promptings of my own body. And if for some reason I'm about to head the wrong way, please stop me. So what this tells me is that you are being divinely guided. You are absolutely not alone. And yeah, it's like the guidance is to go beyond your emotions, to go beyond your intellect, and just to allow yourself to be guided by spirit, by your higher self, by your deeper wisdom. You know, it's really like the message is clear that there's nothing that you need to do, to fix, to change about yourself right now. Really, it feels to me like it's full acceptance of yourself, of your life, just the way it is. Choosing your life just as it is today. Choosing yourself just as you are right now in this moment, moment by moment by moment. That's where you'll find your power that's already there. That's where the healing will that's where the healing will take place. Yeah? Wow. You are a powerful person. And I bet you're a really cool person too. Okay, group one, this was your reading. I hope that it brought you some insight and some clarity. I have loved energetically spending time with you. I would love to hear how this resonated for you in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, a thumbs up would be amazing as well. I do pick a card readings every Sunday, so maybe you want to subscribe to the channel. There might be others that resonate with you. I thank you so much for your time and attention, and I send you so much love and light. Until next time, be well. Hi, group two. Welcome to your reading. Okay, we're going to be using a variety of different cards today, some non-traditional tarot cards, some oracle cards. We're going to look at each card one by one, and then we'll really see the story that wants to be told. Okay, what is this here to teach me? I think it's very cool that you're asking this question. Okay, the first card that you got is knowledge. Then we got the card of destiny. I love this card. Then we got the 11 of fire, which is the page of fire in traditional tarot. Then we got the card of emotions. Beautiful. Then we got confidence is your key to success. New moon in Leo. Then we got the time to go card, and that was in the reverse. I don't get stuck on whether a card is upright or in reverse. I really look at all the energies that are being presented, but we'll leave it that way. And then we got the card of striving, which we'll read at the end. Okay. Okay, so there's obviously something that you are destined to learn. And my sense is it's something new. Like, I don't know if you're watching this during the coronavirus outbreak where you are quarantined in your home, like myself right now when I'm recording this, and many of us across the globe are literally stuck in our homes. So we have a lot more time on our hands. So if that's the case with you, it feels to me like there's something that you are supposed to learn. And when I say learn, obviously the reading is about learning something, right? From whatever this experience is. what I'm getting at is it's like you're supposed to learn a new skill, or like I've been studying astrology. I started a year-long astrology certification program right before this happened. So this has been fabulous for me because I can now finally take the time to dive into the books that I've been putting off on astrology. It feels something like that for you, like there's something that you've always been interested in, and you've never really maybe had the time to really invest in it. Well, now is your time. Now is your time to invest in something that you've always been interested in, and it feels like it's something having to do with the mystical arts or occultism, spirituality, something like that. Like something, I keep hearing hidden, like there's hidden knowledge of some kind. You know what I mean? And this is destined. Like this was written in the stars for you. So there might be something breaking down in your life, like, you know, maybe how you make money. It feels like something external. So it could be, again, the coronavirus situation that we're all dealing with, is that maybe the work that you've normally done, you can no longer do. And so, or the business you had in mind or something like that has derailed you, is my sense. And now you're like, where do I put all of this ambitious energy that I've always had before? Well, I think that you are being asked to pause right now for a reason and focus on learning. And maybe you haven't had the time to learn anything in a long time. It's something new though, and it's something that's going to propel you into the next chapter of your life. And like I said, it's destined. It's like, in other words, it's like your soul agreed to learn this before you got here. It's probably something that you have done in lifetimes before, if you believe in reincarnation. You know, it's something, it feels like of course there'll be a learning curve at the beginning where you start learning about this thing and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't understand it. That's how I've felt with astrology. But then you start to kind of click into it, and then there's like a memory that takes over. That's what it feels like for you. Like it's going to be something like that because it is destined. It's probably that you've done it before. And so I guess why I'm saying that is it feels like I need to tell you to not worry about the beginning, not worry about the learning curve aspect, not worry about not getting it at the beginning or feeling silly at the beginning, or should I really be? Yeah, you should. And just allow yourself whatever time it takes to learn it. You know, you can't master something in a month. It takes time. And that's all a part of it. So then the next cards that we got for you were the Page of Fire, or the Page of Wands, and the Emotions card. So now the Page of Fire can be about like writing something or starting something new too, like a new passion or new project of some kind. Next to the Emotions card, it feels like this is trying to teach you something about, I see a lot of fire in here. It feels like there's a lot of fiery emotions that you're dealing with right now. My guess is it's anger. It feels like you have a lot of anger that either you have denied. So you see this like fiery dragon up here, and then this woman is like covering her face. It's like she doesn't want to see that part of herself. There's something like that, it feels like for me. And then there's like two men in this picture, like in the light gown and in the darker gown. And it feels like that. There's an aspect of you that's fiery that you don't want to be with. Now, maybe it's because you have had, Maybe it's because you've had anger issues in your past and, you thought you handled it or something and it's coming back up again. Or maybe it's that you never like to feel anger and so you've sort of suppressed it, or you're angry about how your life is going and you haven't wanted to feel those emotions. The cards are telling you feel them. Allow yourself to feel whatever's coming up right now, because they're here to teach you something. Your emotions need to be able to rise to the surface because it has to do with whatever you need or are supposed to learn right now. That probably has something to do with this new thing that you're learning too. So if you are starting to learn about the healing arts or the mystical arts or something spiritual like that, you want access to all of yourself. You also want to understand what it is to be a human on every level. And that means allowing yourself to feel everything, because when you work with people, you want to get what it is to experience all those things, to be human. Well, you're human just like they're human, right? So you want to allow yourself to be human so then you can allow other people in your life to be human. Does that make sense? I feel like I was kind of rambling, but it just feels strongly to me like it's important for you to allow certain emotions to arise within you that you haven't been allowing. They're here to teach you something. And maybe it's not anger. It could be passion. It could be purpose. It could be sadness. It could be fear. We never want to get too self-indulgent with our emotions, but I don't think that's your problem at all. I mean, I think that the cards are saying that it's okay to feel those emotions. Now, because this is a general reading, you might be listening to me going, I'm the most emotional person you ever met. Okay, if that's the case, then your message is to maybe not be as self-indulgent to your emotions, to allow them to move through you and to witness them and to experience them, but not to then grab them at the very end when they want to exit and go, well, wait, 5 more minutes of heavy tears. You know yourself, right? So you'll understand what I'm saying, but your emotions are here to teach you something about whatever it is that you're experiencing right now, 100%. Then we got confidence is your key to success. So, and what is it? The new moon in Leo. The new moon in Leo. So again, this is about you learning something new. You're starting something. You're planting seeds about something that will come to fruition. And maybe in 30 days, maybe when the moon is full, right? The new moon is at the beginning of the lunar cycle. Maybe that's all it's going to take is one lunar cycle for you to start to get, ooh, this is a remembering. I am getting this. Like, I am moving through this more quickly than I thought. But the thing about Leos is that my moon is in Leo, actually, oddly enough. And it's like there is this sort of polarizing energy with Leos where they can be super confident or super insecure. It's like the courageous lion or the cowardly lion. So, maybe that's a part of this for you. Is that you can allow yourself to find a balance with that, but also if you are someone that deals with not just insecurity, but not wanting to be one of those people that's too confident or something like that, I'm picking up with you, like that you think that overly confident people are arrogant or something like that belief will hold you back. It's like when we have a belief that people with money are bad, inherently bad, that will hold us back from making money, right? So there's something about you sort of standing up and taking ownership of what you know or who you are and being really confident about that because you haven't allowed yourself to really step into that, it is holding you back in some way. And that's also a part of what you're supposed to be learning right now. is that confidence is really healthy. Healthy confidence is really healthy and really important to succeeding at anything in life. And when I say confidence too, I mean just an internal knowing of who you really are, you know? That you are a divine emanation from the very spark of life. That you have the creator energy within you that is always guiding your life. And that you are capable of learning and experiencing anything that you want out of life. And you are good enough, and you are worthy of great things, of success. In a new endeavor even, you know? In something maybe that you're brand new to. So then we got the time to go card in reverse, and it feels like it's next to this striving card. So I want to read this last card, which is really like it's like a message from your higher self. This is how I was viewing this card as I chose it for you. So it's a card of striving, and it says, eventually the individual ego's drive to make things happen falls away, replaced with a relaxed, trusting openness to answers as they arise. Thank you, Divine, for letting me move with the flow. Okay. Yeah, so it's like you have been, maybe it's just the opposite. Maybe you're just like a total go-getter normally, and so you don't want to be new at something, which is why you have been holding yourself back about starting this new thing or really diving into it, or, saying, this is what I do. Yeah, I've been studying Reiki for 6 months, and I have more to learn, of course, but I am gifted at this, and this comes from many lifetimes. That was a message I got for you at the beginning of this reading too. Like, this is destined, which means this is not your first time at this. So it's okay to step into something that you're new at if you already have that resonance within you. It's okay to own that. I'm good at this. I'm not an expert yet. I'm not a master yet, but I'm good at this. And this is telling me that, with the time to go card in reverse and the striving card, it's like you want to let yourself not have to have a goal right now, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to get to. There's no goal point that's going to tell you that you're ready, You don't have to make anything happen. This is really a time for allowing for all of us, because we're all literally stopped. I think that's one of the greatest lessons for humanity right now during this whole thing, which is that the striving to survive and to make things happen in life and, to get things done is exhausting, and it's not always beneficial. It doesn't actually get things done a lot of times. It doesn't always make things happen, that energy to push things, because what happens is we cut ourselves off from divine source, that omnipresent source of life that is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. It was before, it is now, and it is after. It knows everything, it sees everything. It is divine wisdom, and it's always moving through our lives, and it can be the guiding principle of our lives, but not if we feel like we always gotta make things happen ourselves, right? That energy of making things happen ourselves always, that hustler mentality, that we have really all been programmed to believe is the best thing for us. it's not always the best thing for us, because the divine sees and knows everything. And our intuition is our access to that divine wisdom. And when we are pushing for, striving for, it's very difficult to hear that divine wisdom. Very, very difficult to hear. So you are supposed to learn right now that it's okay to take a moment to pause and learn about whatever you're passionate about, whatever you're interested in about. Acquire as much knowledge as possible. Allow yourself to feel everything that's coming up for you during this whole thing, to feel confident in yourself for who you are right now, and to be grateful for where you are in your life, and get comfortable with not knowing where you're going yet. And I think that is a big lesson for you, is to start to learn how to be comfortable with and confident in not knowing where you're going. How about that for a change? That's real power. That's real peace. In having no idea what's going to happen tomorrow, having no idea how successful you're going to be at this new thing, right? Or where you're going to be in 3 years from now. How about you just stay right here where you are right now and allow for your life to be perfect exactly the way that it is right now, having no idea what the heck it's going to be like tomorrow. But you don't need to figure it out. You don't need to make anything happen. All is well right now in this present moment. There's nowhere to go. Literally nowhere to go. Now is the time to study. Now is the time to process your emotions. Now is the time to be confident in your very nature as a human being. And to just get in the flow of your life. To get in the flow of your life. And sometimes the flow moves like a wild, fast rapids, you know? Shooting down the river. Yeah, sometimes life is like that. Sometimes life is like a lake. And the flow of that lake is like, now we sit for a minute, then we, right? Sometimes it's like a little stream and you get stopped behind a rock and then someone pushes you and then you move a little bit faster, right? But here's the thing, let's use the metaphor, right? We might as well commit to it. You no longer have your rows. You're sitting in a lifeboat and you don't have anything to push you along. You are literally in the boat. You might as well choose to be in the boat right now. And if you're scared, be scared. And if you're sad, be sad. And if you're pissed off, be pissed off. But choose to be in the boat. Choose to be in the flow of your life the way that it is now. I'm hearing, you know that saying, do what you can, use what you have, start where you are. And get comfortable in that experience of life. That's what this is here to teach you. To allow yourself to be in the flow and to be present with the new callings of your soul, you know, because they change. So many times in life, we think that since we had a plan and we were following through and we were going through for a long time, we should never get off that path, right? But the reality is that life is constantly shifting and changing. And sometimes that path is not appropriate, or sometimes that path was absolutely appropriate for that time. You weren't supposed to see the next trip yet until you got to the end of that journey. Then you get a new nudge, go in that direction. Oy, I go in that direction, it's totally different. Like, I did musical theater my entire life, starting from when I was 8 years old. I was a singer and I wanted to be on Broadway, and I lived in New York and I did tours and the whole thing. Forever, forever, forever. Then, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, all of a sudden I started to think, I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to work in the healing arts and, get into spirituality. I was like, no way, I can't do that. I am a master at singing. How could I possibly give all of that up and start new? Well, it took me a while because I had to break my ego down and deal with my insecurities and my confidence and am I a failure? And boy, did I have a lot of emotions that came up around it. I had to deal with, real grief in losing the dream that I had for my life. And maybe that's what's going on with you right now. Maybe you are losing the dream that you had for your life. And it's fucking sad sometimes. And it's okay to be sad about it and pissed about it. And I put all that time and energy into that thing, and now it's done, and now you want me to go learn something else? What the hell? Yeah, it's exactly right. Life is not always fair, as my mother used to say. But you know what? It all comes out in the wash, right? At the end of the day, everything is always balanced out. And life is always working in your highest and best good. Always. So this too is in service of your highest and best good. Remember that. And allow yourself to experience this moment fully. Because it's absolutely here to teach you so much that will take you into a new direction of your life, that will take you to your destiny. Whatever happened before was to prepare you for now. Yeah? All right, my darling, this was your reading. I hope that it brought you some insight and some clarity. I have loved energetically spending time with you. I'd love to hear how this reading was for you in the comment section below. If you liked it, a thumbs up would be amazing. Maybe you want to subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be doing pick a card readings every Sunday, so maybe there's some others that may resonate with you as well. I thank you so much for your time and attention. I send you so much love and light. And until next time, be well. Hi, Group 3. Welcome to your reading. Okay, so we're going to be using a variety of different cards, some non-traditional tarot, some oracle cards. We'll really look at each card and then this larger story that wants to be told. Okay, let's start with these guys. Okay, so the first card that we have is the Five of Pentacles, or the Five of Earth in this deck. Then we have the card of Abundance. Beautiful. Then we have the Nine of Swords. Yep, the Nine of Swords, the Nine of Air in this deck. Then we have the Two of Swords, or the Two of Air in this deck. Then we have Your Commitment is Being Tested, the First Quarter Moon. Then we have the card of Deep Knowing. Love this card. Then we have the last card is Perfectionism, and we'll read that at the end. Okay, let's see what we have. Okay, so first things first, we have the Five of Pentacles right next to the card of Abundance. So this is definitely some financial stuff we're going through over here, right, with you. I don't know if you're watching this during the coronavirus experience that we're all having here on planet Earth. Many of us are dealing with some major financial issues right now. So you may be one of those people. And this is definitely here to teach you something about abundance and where true abundance comes from. And who is your source of abundance? That's the question that I have for you, that Spirit has for you. Who is your source? Is it your job? Is it your mind? Is it your husband? Is it your inheritance? Is it the government? Who is your source of abundance? That is the question that your spirit wants you to ask right now. That is a big lesson that you are meant to be learning right now. What is this here to teach you? What is your source? I would venture to say your source of abundance, your true source of abundance is God, is the divine, is spirit, is whatever you think is speaking to you through this reading. That is the true source of abundance, life. However you describe that eternal presence, that energy that flows through all of life, that divine intelligence that flows through all of life, that is your true source of abundance. And what does that mean? That means that even if you lose your job, God will give you something else. Even if you lose that relationship, God will bring you something else. And even if you, again, don't use God, I don't want you to be turned off by the use of the word God if it doesn't resonate with you, the universe, love. What is it that moves life? How are babies born? Like, I know that you believe in some energetic principle of life, or else you wouldn't be watching a tarot card reading, right? So please don't get turned off in the use of the word God. Please just insert whatever works best for you. But I think that is a very important lesson for you right now, to get clear about that organizing principle that is always moving through your life in service of your highest and best good. And tapping into that flow of life, listening for it, allowing it to move you. Because abundance doesn't have to come from money necessarily either, remember, right? Abundance can be given as a gift. Someone walks to your door and hands you a plate of food. That's God moving through that person. You get what I'm saying? The government says, we'll send you another check. That's God moving through your life. This is not to say that it's time to sort of rest on your laurels and throw up your hands and say, oh, well, I'm just going to let God take care of me. That's not the lesson. But the lesson is that, interesting. The lesson is that God is your divine source of all the abundance that's in your life. And you're definitely supposed to be learning that right now. It's a hard lesson to learn, believe me. It's a lesson that I've had to learn many times and hopefully won't have to learn too many more times. But I'm noticing in this Five of Pentacles, so the Five of Pentacles traditionally in the tarot deck is like being left out in the cold. It could be like getting fired from a job. It often has to do with finances, obviously. And in this deck, it's like, you see this sort of devilish energy in the front with the cards. And it's like a joker, it feels like you'd been fooled. Like maybe you felt like you got fooled by something. It feels like you were, and you see the image of the woman in the back there. It feels to me like, and if this story doesn't resonate with you, obviously, it's not for you. It might just be, this is a general reading. So the specific story may not resonate with you, but the general message may. So this is just for some of you, which is to say that it feels like you had, you got bamboozled in some way by your job or your relationship, or someone was giving you abundance. Someone was providing financial stability for you in some way, a job or not, a career, a spouse, something like that, parents maybe even, and they were giving you things and then it got turned off or taken away. And now again, this is like, we're all going through that right now, right? Like I had another business besides this one that's entirely been turned off. I completely get it. And it had been something I'd been working on for 7 or 8 years. It was, my child in many ways. And now, because of what's going on with the coronavirus, I can no longer do that business. So it's something like that. And you feel duped by it in some way, like the rug got pulled out from under you, or, you were fooled. It feels like you were fooled. This feels like the fool here. Or someone stole something from you. It feels like something stole something from you. But that feeling is the lesson. That is your entry point into expansion, growth, learning, personal development. It was designed for you. It was designed for your highest good. I lost this business. I don't know if it's going to come back again, but let me tell you, it has propelled me to spend more energy doing this, which is also something that I love, which is probably the next chapter of my life. And I wouldn't have given it as much time and attention had I been focusing all of my time and attention over there in that other business. It's the same thing for you. It's pushing you somewhere else. It's for you. It's not against you. And what are you supposed to be learning from this? Again, where is your true source of abundance? And I'm not talking about one specific thing like money. I'm talking about abundance, meaning that all of your needs are met. All of your needs are met. Because God is good. Life is good. You are always being taken care of. You are always being guided to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. You are not alone. There is a team of spiritual beings who are moving through your life all the time. You see this huge dragon here? Do you see this guy? Here she is focused down here. Oh my gosh, you guys, this could not be more perfect. Here she is focused down here, and she's got this huge dragon behind her. That's what it feels like for you. You have a source of power that's literally right over your shoulder, and it's like, hey, look over here, look over here. Don't worry about that thing over there. It's okay. Shift your attention. All of life is available to you, but you cannot, it's all dependent on where you look. It's all perspective. It's all focus. It's all attention. You're being called, I'm sure of it. You are being called to shift your attention to something else that will bring you more abundance. But it's asking for you to let go of whatever this is that you got duped by. It's time to let it go. Then we have the 9 of Swords with the 2 of Swords. So the 9 of Swords traditionally in the tarot deck is like, a lot of worries, anxieties, fears, concerns, the kind of stuff that keeps you up at night with insomnia. Interestingly enough, in this deck, it's really about using your mind to figure things out in a lot of ways. So, and it's right next to the 2 of Swords, which is that sort of like going within kind of energy. It's like, it feels like, and this is obviously very polarized in this deck, the black and the white, right? The opposites. And, yeah, it feels like you are being asked to use your mind in some way. Like maybe you haven't sort of given yourself enough credit about how bright you really are and inventive. This guy feels like an inventor to me. It feels like there's something that you can figure out and invent. And I don't mean this is like a gadget necessarily, right? But a way out or something to change your experience that you're going through. You can definitely figure this out. Again, you're not alone. And spirit will often put thoughts and ideas in your head, you know? But I can tell that you're going back and forth a lot. You're going back and forth in your mind from one extreme to the other. And they're asking for you to, try to be balanced. Easier said than done, right? But I think just trusting in that guiding principle of love in our life can help us to feel balanced, right? If we know that we're not alone. Okay, so then we got the card, Your Commitment is Being Tested, and it's right next to this Deep Knowing card. It feels just like, again, I can't get off this abundance because it is like the biggest archetypal energy. It's like the equivalent of a major arcana. So it's like the theme of everything. This card feels like the theme of your reading, which is about abundance. So your commitment is being tested, and this deep knowing is all about this card of intuition. So it's like, it feels like your faith is being tested. Your commitment to your spiritual path in a way is being tested, if that makes sense to you. Like your commitment to like your own internal knowing, you know? Because I know if you're watching this video, you're the kind of person that's definitely tapped into your intuition and does a lot, has been doing work on yourself. I know that this is not the first time that you've asked this question, what is this here to teach me, right? This is a question that you ask in your life a lot, which means that you are tuned into your higher self. And you have to trust that. You have to trust that what you're hearing and seeing within is from your higher self, and it's here to guide you. Like, I have a feeling that whenever this happened, you got upset about it, of course, but then you did have a feeling like, oof, I didn't really like that job anyway, and I know there's something better. Now, here's what's interesting. That can happen right when a tragedy happens, right? Like someone breaks up with you and you're like, I'm so sad. And at the same time, you're like, oh, thank God that relationship is done. Then the next morning you wake up and you're like, I miss him so much and I can't believe it's over, right? It's kind of like that energy it feels like for you. Like you knew that everything would be okay, and you knew that, you would figure it out. You knew that God was your source in a lot of ways, and that everything is divinely ordered, and that all of your needs will always be met. You knew that. And then, you doubted yourself, which is totally natural and totally normal. But the cards are just really asking for you to stay in that deep knowing that all is well. No matter what's going on the outside, no matter what losses, no matter what detours, no matter what disappointments, all is well. All is divinely ordered. You are always being divinely guided, and all is well. You're being asked to commit to that. Okay, let's see what this card of perfectionism has to say, because I feel like it's going to tie into this Nine of Swords energy. So you got the card of perfectionism. Such a pretty card. And it says, permission to make mistakes is so freeing. It's the root of creativity and change. Allow me, divine, to make as many mistakes as I need. Free me from the prison of perfectionism. So maybe you have been, embarrassed about whatever happened here, and you've been feeling ashamed about it, that somehow it's your fault, or that you weren't good enough, or that you should have had things figured out because you're such a smart person and you know better, and why didn't you? But the cards are saying to you that Mistakes are the root of creativity and change. You know in your heart of hearts that things needed to change. You know in your heart of hearts that things had to shift in your life, that what was going on was not serving your highest and best good. You were not loving your experience. So even though it's scary and disappointing, it is exactly what your soul needed. So there's nothing to be embarrassed about. There's nothing to be shameful for, There's no such thing as perfectionism. Life is messy. Life is ripe with failure and disappointment and change and all of that. And necessity is the mother of invention, is what I'm hearing. Necessity is the mother of invention. Have you heard that before? That's what it feels like. It's like this invention, this inventor energy, like you're gonna come up with something. Just allow yourself to go within and you will figure this out, that you will be divinely guided. Because that abundant source of energy is always going to show you the next path to go to get more abundance, to get more resources, but it might be messy for a while, and you don't want to get too attached to the way that it looks right now. You know what I mean? Don't let yourself judge yourself too much, or judge your life too much, or judge your experience too much, because again, it was divinely ordered and change is messy. Like, that's how we grow. That's how we transform. That's how we evolve, is through failure, is through chaos a lot of times. But you will put things back together. You have a beautiful, inventive energy. And my feeling is that you are way more creative than you've given yourself credit for. Maybe you already know yourself to be really smart. This is kind of what it's feeling like to me. Like, that you're a really bright person, but maybe you don't give yourself enough credit for how creative you are, the other side of yourself. And maybe what's happening right now is that your spirit is asking you to explore the other side of yourself. Maybe it's a part of you that hasn't sort of surfaced since you were a kid, and then you got into your life, and then you started working, and then you were fulfilling all of societal's roles and surviving and making it happen and all that stuff. And now it's time, in this moment of global pause, for you to explore other sides of yourself, the creative sides of yourself. Because change is upon you. Change is upon us all right now. And it's important that you hang your hat on the eternal. You know what I mean? Like, don't allow yourself to get too caught up in all of the change and chaos in your life right now, because you have this deep spiritual connection and you are getting divine guidance, because there's no way that you could have gotten the card of deep knowing if you didn't have a very deep connection with your higher self already. This card tells me that you are being divinely guided. You're getting downloads all the time. And if you don't feel like you are, you may want to explore like meditations and stuff where you can experience it more for yourself. I mentioned at the beginning of this video in the intro that I have a really great meditation that's free called Inward Journey. It's like 30 minutes long. You go on a visualization, a led meditation, an inward journey to meet your higher self, and you get a download. So you may want to do things like that where you can explore that further for yourself if you haven't already, which I bet you already have. But it's still great to practice that stuff too, right? You can find that in the description box below. It's also at canyanoracle.com/YT. So you are getting divine guidance. Absolutely. You are connected to your higher self. It's just, you just need to trust that whatever's going on externally, all the chaos that may be happening in your life, that you're feeling the change and the loss and the grief and all of that, it's moving you into a more abundant experience of life. And I don't mean just money. I mean, what this is here to teach you is that life is inherently abundant. There you go. That's what it's here to teach you. Life is abundant. Why? Because God is life. How could you say that God is lacking in anything? God is not lacking in anything, right? Everything is always available. You just want to tap into that energy and move through your life as that's my experience of life is abundant, right? And then what happens is you attract whatever you need. And I don't mean becoming a millionaire. Like, people always want to jump to that. Such an extreme. I'm just talking about, it's like the experience of that's coming up for me is like the monks who travel from town to town and all they have is a bowl and, no possessions at all, but they always eat. That's what it's like to live with the experience of abundance flowing through your life. I'm not saying that you have to give up all your possessions and become a monk. I'm just saying that being in that experience of abundance will always bring you what you need. You just have to know that for yourself. And then all the fears and worries and anxiety will really dissipate, in many ways. Of course, it's easier said than done, but I know you're up for the challenge. That's why you're at this reading today, because you are a seeker of truth. You do the work. You are into self-inquiry, which means you are connected to your higher self, and you will always be guided. Your needs will always be met. There is abundance always available to you. Always. All right, my love, that was your reading for today. I would love to hear how it was for you in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the reading, a thumbs up would also be amazing. I do pick a card readings every Sunday, so you may want to subscribe because others may resonate with you as well. I thank you so much for your time and your attention. I send you so much love and so much light. And until next time, be well.